Hello, everybody. This episode and all the episodes are brought to you as a huge thank you to Joe Rogan and the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, the JRE, the Joe Rogan Experience, which is available on YouTube and iTunes. Without Joe and listening to his incredible podcast, I would have never thought about doing this. And so, yeah. I will always be indebted to him by listening to his podcast. He gave me the cojones, if you will, to contemplate doing this. And then also a huge thanks, I don't normally say this either, but to the friends who then also encouraged me by doing little snippet videos, if you will, on different things going on in sports, who then in turn told me to do this on a regular basis. And so, ta-da, here we are. Also brought to you as a huge thanks to Zions. If I had it turned the right way, that'd be helpful. The only energy drink I drink. 0 calories, 0 sugar, no crash, no jitters. And it's fucking epically delicious. Zions. The original great tasting 0 calorie energy drink. Real energy for real people. The unique formula that gives you, the hashtag Power2. I am drinking Frostberry Blast, one of the few, actually, of the cans that has the new logo. I'm actually finding only a few cans have the new logo. This one has it, the Mango Guava has it, and I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure the Fruit Punch has it. Those are the 3 they sell at Meijer. At least 3 I've been able to find at Meijer. Other than that, it's actually really hard to find, which really sucks because it's, like I said, epically delicious. Big news going on in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, otherwise known as the UFC, and the NFL and college ball. Before we move on to that, before we crack this baby open, I would like to give a little shout out to a friend of mine who now is going to make me do this probably for all of these from now on. And that is that we do have one official sponsor, and that is Fucks. Not given here, not given there, not given anywhere. Thank you, Christian Rios. All right, let's crack this baby open. Okay, so to kick off, I had been gone for a week. I thought about doing one last Monday, but I was leaving early Tuesday to go up to deer camp for hunting season, so I decided, never mind, I'll just do it next week, and we'll just do a little bit more of all this happy shit. So to recap, last Saturday, there was some epic football going on. Notre Dame won, Michigan won, MSU won, and Ohio State won. Those are the 4 teams I'm going to cover real quick. Very good games, very exciting games. I'm pretty sure MSU won. It was a week ago, I don't fucking remember. But in even better and more interesting news in mixed martial arts, Ronda Rousey lost. She lost her belt to Holly Holm. Holly Holm had a fantastic fight. She proved that Ronda had a little bit of trouble with the stand-up, and that a true, technician boxer who has perfect movement and perfect ability to counter with a jab or come over with the right hook could beat somebody who's not as technically sound on the feet. Nothing against Ronda. Ronda's an amazing fighter. But Holly, a little more technical. And, of course, she finished Ronda with a head kick, which was beautiful to watch. Other than that, not a whole heck of a lot's been going on. There's conversation in NCAA, otherwise known as college ball, that Les Miles, the head coach of Louisiana State, or otherwise known as LSU, is going to lose his job. He may be fired. I'll keep you updated on the Facebook page about it. I heard end of the day. That's what I last heard. End of the day is the last thing I heard about it. is when they'll have their decision. I agree and disagree with the possibility of firing Les Miles. On one hand, yeah, he's lost quite a few games. Yeah, he's really kind of struggled with your program. And no, you really haven't beaten, Alabama in quite a while. Which is really the marking, this where the bar is set, if you will, in that division, the SEC. But at the same time, you've had productive years. You've gotten amazing recruits. And you've moved on and had some fantastic games. Again, I know that probably doesn't count for much, but it should. Also, you had quite a few good bowl wins. That should actually attribute to the final decision. But, you gotta go with the punches, man. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. I really hope he stays at LSU. I like Les Miles. I've got no problems with him. If you can't tell, I'm a little tired. That's why my eyes are barely open. I awoke this morning, 5 hours ago, and my bowels informed me that I need to run to the bathroom. I've not been able to fall asleep since. So probably right after this, I'm going to lay down and pass out, because that's usually how that goes. Most other people know what I mean. The energy drink maybe will help. Keyword, maybe. I won't crash from this, just like I always say. I'm not going to crash from it. It's that my body is actually just going to go, fuck you, and pass out. Caffeine doesn't always necessarily work. I've been drinking caffeine for a very long time. My body has built up a tolerance. Actually, that's helping a bit. But anyway, to people who normally stay up a little later, much like myself, we night owls, we find out that eventually at some point during the night, your body just goes, fuck you. And you could be in the middle of partying and pass out. Not from booze, not from drugs, just your body just goes, you need to fall asleep. I'm going to make you fall asleep now. I had trouble with that in high school, actually. I'll tell you this little story real quick. I used to fall asleep at the same hour, almost at the same time, every day. They thought I was narcoleptic. That means you just fall asleep at random moments during the day. Actually, no one knows. I've had blood work done. I have not had a sleep study done. I do not intend on having that done. A little too invasive. I don't mind you pricking me with a needle here and there, and every once in a while testing something, but nope. Fuck it. But anyway, cute little story. I used to have people who tried to kick me in the shins to try and keep me awake. Yeah, that didn't work. I have a really high pain tolerance. That doesn't help. But yeah, that's that. So before I move on to sports again, I would like to share this little tidbit. While listening to Joe Rogan explain some things, he said that he's had stem cell work on, I believe he said it was his knee. On his knees, and he's thinking about having it done to his elbow. I think that's what he said. I don't remember off the top of my head. Talking about how that's, improved his ability to move, his mobility, his ability to, do things he couldn't before. And for those who don't know about this, I've only explained it in one episode. I struggle with a rare eye disease known as rod and cone dystrophy, where I'm slowly going blind. I'm down to probably about 45% vision, give or take. I have no peripheral vision whatsoever. I cannot see at all in the dark. And my distance is starting to go. My color is starting to go. I can never drive. And they keep discussing the stem cell stuff. But because of the lovely people in the government, fuck you, they won't pass any legislation on it. And I agree with part of the argument, Part of the argument is if you use stem cells, you can create basically whatever you want. From my understanding. And I agree. There should be, laws, and there should be restrictions on it. You can't do this, you can't do this. There's also these people that love to cry about things. What are they called again? That's right, Christians. They like to cry when things don't go their way. They also love to use that book from the imaginary man, supposedly, that was written 1,000 years after it was told. So, like everything's 100% accurate in that. That you're not supposed to have an abortion. That's their big thing. That, oh my God, stem cells come from that. So therefore, that's their argument anyway. You're killing unborn fetuses. Whenever it comes to any of that argument, first of all, it's because I need them. I mean, scientifically, they don't know if it'll work, but it's fucking at this point. Let's give it a shot. They've discussed, whether or not it'll work. That's their big argument. Is it encourages abortion, and that's how you get the stem cells, and you're killing unborn fetuses. Okay, first of all, fuck you and your unborn fetuses, okay? I agree with New York law, and that is the fetus is not a person until it takes a breath outside the womb. Until then, go fuck yourself. It's not a person. I've been picked on a bit about that one by people that I know. Christians. Because that's an unpopular bias, an unpopular view. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't agree that that's a person. Yet. Just saying. But, yeah, shit like that happens. Arguments are going to be brought up, and unfortunately, my argument of go fuck your argument doesn't hold much weight. In the words of my father, you love to use those arguments until your kid needs it. And I was actually very proud that he had to say that. Because other members of my family like to sweep my problem under the rug or that I'm fine. No, I'm not. I'm not fine. One day I could wake up and this gone. That's not what they forecast. But much like weathermen, you're bullshitting me. You're just guessing. I could be a fucking weatherman. I'm looking outside. It's sunny. There's snow on the ground. Precipitation may come from the sky. It may be rain. It may be snow. I'm not sure. I'll put a 40% chance on that. Partly cloudy. There might be some wind. There might be a combination of carbon and oxygen in the air. That is all. No shit. That's it. And that's a tangent. I have ADD. But, that's what weathermen like to do. Same thing with doctors. Well, we think. Well, fuck you. I think that I'm going to go home and jerk off. Whether or not I actually go do it is another. I probably will, but that's beyond the point. Usually not right after I visit the doctor's office. I usually give it a good, well, it depends on when I go. If I went at 4:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Eastern Standard Time. I checked the first time. And I came home, 4:45. If I walked, it's about an 8-minute walk. Because I got to stand at that light. 8 minutes there, 8 minutes back. That's 16 minutes. What's the extra 10? So we're looking at about 34 minutes, give or take, here and there, walking. Plus probably another 45 in there. So if I got back by 6:30, my guesstimation is probably around 7:45. Because right after I've come from the doctor, again, depending on what I had done, I don't want to. No. Don't know what else I've touched in there. Don't know who's touched that. Don't want that to end up on my dick. So, I don't do that right after I get back from the doctor's office. However, one thing I do happen to do when I come back from the doctor's office is wash my hands very vigorously because, like I said, there's sick people in there and I don't want to contract the new AIDS. So, fuck it. Anyway, to go with the forecasting thing. 40% chance. Why is it 40%? That's so if it does rain or snow, they can go, see, I told you. But if it doesn't, they go, well, we only gave it a 40% chance. High probability suggested that it would not do it. However, if it does, oh, look, we told you 40% it might. There's other days when it's like, it's clear. I've had it before where it has said, clear, sunny. It's going to be sunny and about 40 degrees. Well, that's probably about April. April or sometimes even the first week of June. It's like that. It's a little cold still. Maybe 50. Sunny. No rain forecasted. There might be a few clouds in the sky, but other than that, no problem. And what do? You wake up in the morning and it's pouring. And they go, a system has moved in. It'll likely end by like noon. 3:45 p.m. Still raining. Yeah, this system will probably clear out eventually. Thank you, Master Bullshit. Did not realize you were guessing this entire time. The only weatherman I have ever had 100% respect for, minus the guy I used to live next door to, the guy for Channel 3, I don't know his name off the top of my head. The only weatherman I have ever had any respect for. I was at my cabin. We were thinking about going out to go fishing. We brought the boat with us just in case it was supposed to be nice. Because it was cloudy out, but didn't know if it was going to rain. Made our way into town. We had the radio on. It started to rain. We thought, okay, this might be just a little system. It'll clear out in like 10 minutes. We flip on the radio. We got the radio on. We turn the volume up a little bit. And here comes the weatherman. The weatherman says, it's raining outside. It may end. It may stop. It may not. We'll have to wait and see. That's your weather. I have respect for that man because you know what? At least you're more accurate than most people. We always make fun of that guy. You know, my friends and I, my family and I, we always made fun of him. Oh, it may rain. It may stop. It may not. Ha. But to be honest with you, that's the most accurate weather report I've ever gotten. It may end. It may not. Volcanic ash is falling from the sky. God is trying to kill us. It may end. It may not. I don't know. Or if I am wrong, may God strike me down. 2 things right there. 1, that was Monty Python. 2, notice nothing happened. That's not a... I wasn't kidding. That's one of those things I always like to tell people. Well, you're not an atheist because you said you still believe in a... Or sorry, it's always a misconception. You say you're not 100% atheist, but you still say God, and you mention God. Okay, to say there is no God is 100% bullshit. There is absolutely, positively a God. I just don't know which one it is. Because you see, I'm trying to think of a good way to explain this. The Muslims, the Christians, the Hindus, all the religions. You ever notice how they center around one theme? They all have a really similar story. You see, in the Christian version, again, this is my understanding. This one I got pretty much down pat. The other one I'm about to mention, I'm not so sure about. Because I'm not, none of my family members are, so I don't know. But anyway, when it comes to the Christians, which I do know about, they claim that God sent his son, Jesus, down here for blah, blah, blah. You get the point. If you don't know this story, well, then read it. Then I wonder what rock you've hidden under. Because if you live in America, now again, if you live in a different country, that's different. But I mean, if you live in America and you've never heard of the whole Jesus story, where do you live? Can I move there? Because I'd prefer never hear it again. Heard it once when I was 3. Haven't stopped hearing about it since. It's getting a little boring. I'm 21 years old now. Kind of sick of hearing it. I'm aware. But with the Muslims, it was that Allah had sent to a man named Muhammad, who was a prophet, who then came to his people and explained. Sounds kind of familiar. With the Hindus, it's something similar. Again, I don't remember. This is what happens when your school is full of Christians. They don't really care about the other religions, much like most of the United States. So we'll focus on ours, and then when it comes to the other ones, this is kind of what it's about. I don't know. Go to the next one. Kind of like that, I guess. I don't know. The whole clipping of the remote thing made it more interesting, I guess. I don't know. And that's how he did things. It was like, well, again, another thing that the teachers didn't care for, and neither did most of the staff, meaning the principals. You know who you are. Didn't like that. My reaction to that was, we need to learn more about these other religions. Well, why? Well, because, much like how history repeats itself, what's the one thing people have been killing more people for any reason than any? Religion. So maybe we should try to understand, why do you believe this way? Why do you believe this way? Why do you believe this way? Also, we should take Christianity, one giant ball of shit, and let's take the individualities of that. Let's take the, Methodists. Let's take the Protestants. Let's take the Catholics. And let's get them all, figure out what the difference is between them. By the way, all three of those groups, who, by the way, all talk to the same invisible man, hate each other. Isn't that funny? I think it's fucking hilarious. Well, you see, we're Protestants and you're Catholic. So, we're not allowed to be around your kind. I'm sorry, last I checked, I was a human living on planet Earth. Therefore, don't give a fuck. Alright, let's move on to the one thing you people want to hear me talk about, and that's sports. Something I can tell you with 100% fact, 40% of the time. I'm kidding, it's most of the time. So, this past weekend, we had some actually really good games. This is, of course, for week. Let me see, what week was this? 11. This past week, the last game was played last night. So, Thursday night, while I was still freezing my very white, very Polish ass off in Grayling, Michigan, I got to watch a pretty exciting game, actually. I mean, considering the teams who played is on a Thursday night, most Thursday night games are kind of boring. This particular Thursday night game was actually quite exciting. It was the Tennessee Titans against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars beat the Titans 19-13. And then, of course, I got to watch a slew of games, which I will cover next, in college ball. And then it was Sunday. Sunday. The game for the National Football League. And so I sat down to watch the Lions, who I totally expected to lose. Because what's the one thing the Lions are good at? I just said it. Losing. But however, we got a win. We won 18-13 over the Oakland Raiders. I almost said Los Angeles. That's not correct anymore. Hasn't been for a while. Although I hope they move back. To Anaheim, not Los Angeles. The Colts played the Falcons. They beat the Falcons 24-21. The Rams and the Ravens met, and the Ravens beat the Rams 16-13. The Buccaneers played the Eagles. The Buccaneers won 45-17. The Broncos played against the Bears. A homecoming, if you will, for two particular people. The Chicago Bears, not the Colts. Starting quarterback Jay Cutler was originally drafted by the Denver Broncos. They also fired their coach, the Broncos left this past season. Mr. John Fox, and John Fox took over in Chicago. So we had two homecomings, if you will, and the Broncos were able to hold out in a very interesting win over the Bears. They beat them 17-15. Peyton Manning sat out this game due to injury. Brock Osweiler played. The Jets and the Texans played. The Texans beat the Jets 24-17. The Panthers and the Redskins played, and as expected, the Panthers made the Redskins their bitch, winning 44-16. The Dolphins and the Cowboys played. The Cowboys won with the return of Tony Romo, 24-14. And this is kind of a funny score. The Chiefs played against the Chargers, winning 33-3. Chiefs win. Just think it'd be kind of funny. The Packers and the Vikings played. The Packers were able to hold out over the Vikings, winning 30-13. The 49ers played against the Seahawks. And as expected, the 49ers decided to sit down, cry, and eat some shit. They lost 29-13. Fuck the Niners. The Bengals played the Cardinals. That was the Sunday night game, and they lost. The Bengals lost, that is, 31-34. The Cardinals beat them. At this point in time, we moved on to Monday night. Now, a little interesting tidbit of news. I play fantasy football. I'm in a couple different leagues. One of them is with both of my cousins, Zach and Ryan. I have beaten Zach and Ryan once already this year. I have to play them again this past weekend. I was playing my cousin Zachary. Before the Sunday night game, him and I were tied. He had two players playing, both of them on Monday night. I had one player playing in the Sunday night game. Tyler Eifert, the tight end for the Bengals, was on my team. He had a decent game. It was a pretty interesting game to watch. Got me quite a few points. Not a lot, but enough to kind of get me a little edge. I think I was up by 2 or something like that at one point, and I was up by 6 or 7 after a while. But then I worried. Monday night, I don't have anybody playing. Zach has two players, both of them receivers. Sammy Watkins, oh dear, who I traded to him, by the way. Mostly because Sammy Watkins was crying about possessions and things like that, and I decided to tell him to go fuck himself and traded him. Him and Cam Newton. I traded both of them. Some people are going to tell me how terrible a trade that was. Nah, but I got a couple really good players in return, so I wasn't too shabby at the time. Now, I'm not upset about getting rid of Cam Newton as much as I am Sammy Watkins, mostly because I could really use another receiver. But I'm solving that problem as we speak. Back to what I was talking about. He had Danny Amendola for the Patriots and Sammy Watkins from the Bills. So, we move on. Monday night. All I could be was hopeful that I would go 2 for 2 against my cousin, because that would give me a small amount of bragging rights. Why do I say small amount? Because this is something that only matters while the season's going on. Once the season ends, no one cares. No one cares. It's not as big of a deal. So I watched the Patriots and the Bills game. And then I stopped watching the Patriots and the Bills game. And then I watched it online by their little application thingamabob, where you can watch. It's a screen with a field that shows an arrow. Yes, that's right, some Stone Age shit. It's got an arrow. It tells you how many yards someone gained. If they lost, if they gained. It doesn't show flags. Well, it does show flags, but it didn't show the dumb flag that I'll talk about in a second. And things like that. However, Patriots won. But it was not enough, and I beat Zachary. Ha ha. That's honestly like the most showboaty I get about this. I beat him this week. Makes me 2 for 2 against him. Now all I have to do is beat Ryan. And it'll be a sweet, sweet victory if I can pull it off. I think I play him in like 2 weeks or something like that. Because he is going to the playoffs, and if I finish even, I'll be happy. I'm 5-6 at the moment. But that's that for pro football. Now, to explain the flag thing I was just saying. During the Patriots-Bills game, there was a pause in the action that didn't make much sense. Tom Brady rolled out of the pocket, looking downfield, finds Danny Amendola, throws the ball to him. Amendola catches it, starts to go upfield, and why are we stopping? The refs have blown the whistle. Everyone's looking around. What's going on? They said Tom Brady stepped out of bounds before he threw the ball. Therefore, no pass. He's out back here. Loss of yardage. They watched the replay. He did not step out of bounds. And everybody is all up in arms. And oh my God, how much that screwed us. And blah, 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 blah. All right. Who does the officiating for this again? People, right? Okay. Last I checked, people make mistakes. It was a mistake. Stuff like this happens. There's nothing you can do. But, whatever. That's honestly how I felt. The game continued on. I don't know what they did. I didn't watch that. This is the part I wasn't watching at the time. I don't know if they gave them the ball back from where they started, gave them the down, what. I think they should have given them the ball from where Amendola caught it and gone, all right, we'll just say this is where the ball is now because this is the last place you were standing. But this has brought up a whole big conversation about what is going on with the world of officiating and the whole catch rule. And there's people who have fumbled it or lost control of the ball, and their argument was, well, I didn't have full possession of the catch because the way the rule is worded, because, we're all supposed to have an attorney with us whenever we play a sport for fun. Or in this case, as a career, and get paid more than anybody ever. You must catch the ball. Upon catching the ball, you must have the possession of the ball throughout the process of the catch. Even if going to the ground, you must have the ability to hold on to the ball through the process of the catch. Therefore, it is ruled a catch. What does that mean? That means if I throw a football at you, and you catch it, and you bring it into your chest and start to run. Right there, you have caught the ball, and you've worked through the process of the catch. Now, my firm example for something that A, pisses people off, B, makes me laugh, and 3, is just fun to bring up. Dez Bryant dropping the ball. Evidently, there's a football move clause. I am unaware of it. I've tried to find it. I couldn't find it. They talked about it, and I found it right after they got done talking about it later in the year. But upon the immediate mention of this rule, never heard of it. So what happened? The ball got thrown to Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant caught it, stumbled on his way to the ground, and attempted kind of somehow, don't know how, stretch out to try and get in the end zone. While doing that, the ball fell out of his hands as he landed on the ground. Now his argument, because, Dez Bryant's evidently basically Roger Goodell, who's also a crook, that, well, I had process all the way down to the ground. I was making a football move. Well, if you actually watch the replay, he's losing control of the ball on his way to the ground. And the oldest rule when it comes to catching the ball, well, not the oldest, but older than this whole process bullshit, is on your way to the ground cannot aid you in the possession of the ball or the catch. Well, what did the ground do? Well, he was losing control of the ball and hit the ground. That allowed him to hold on to it. And if you watch, the ball clearly moves when he hits the ground. What do I mean by moves? I don't mean as in, oh crap, I'm hitting the ground and it wiggles a little. I mean he hit the ground and instead of the ball wiggling a little, it actually damn near fell out of his hand. You can watch the clip on YouTube. I do it every once in a while. I need a good laugh. But essentially, no, that's one of the things where they're discussing whether or not they should change the officiating. I think the officiating is fine. They're doing the best they can. Mistakes happen. They're only people. All right, now let's move on to something still football related, but a little bit more interesting, if you will. I wondered if they did that. They advanced a week. Damn it. Damn it, ESPN. All the information that I gave you about the scores was brought to you by the NFL.com. I don't know what their slogan is, otherwise I'd tell you it. Okay. In college football last week, there were some, like I said, fantastic games. Most of them played on Saturday. And here we go. This is not in any preference. This is how it's listed on the scoreboard. On the 21st, Saturday, Boston College lost to Notre Dame 19-16. Wake Forest lost to Clemson 33-13. Alabama beat Charleston Southern. I'd like to bring up something about that real quick. Who the hell is Charleston Southern? Is that a community college? Because I'm pretty sure it is. But what did you expect? It's Alabama. We'll play community colleges through half the year and then wonder why we only have 2 losses. Well, maybe if you played a good team more than once a year, you have more wins. Or have more losses, I apologize. Sadly, that's not how the world works when you're Alabama. They won 56-6. Michigan State against Ohio State. Michigan State beat Ohio State 17-14. I'm sorry, Zach, I gotta bring that up again. Purdue lost to Iowa 20-40. Baylor beat Oklahoma State 45-35. Texas Christian University lost to Oklahoma 29-30. Florida Atlantic got beat by Florida 20-14. Stanford beat California 35-22. Michigan beat Penn State 28-16. UCLA won 17-9 over Utah. Chattanooga was beat by Florida State 52-13. Louisiana State University lost to Ole Miss 38-17. Navy beat Tulsa, 44-21. North Carolina beat Virginia Tech 30-27. Houston got beat by Connecticut 20-17. Northwestern beat Wisconsin 13-7. Memphis was beat by Temple 31-12. The University of Southern California lost to Oregon 28-48. That's the only scores they have up here. I realize there were more games, but I can only tell you what ESPN tells me. This information is brought to you by ESPN.com. Also this past Saturday, there was a fight. The Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC Fight Night 78, Neil Magny versus Kelvin Gastelum. To start off the card, Michael Richard Cuna dos Peraza beat Valmir Lazaro by decision. Polo Reyes Reyes, I apologize, beat Cesar Arzamendia, knocked him out in the first round. Alvaro Herrera beat Vernon Ramos. He knocked him out in, oh good God, the first round. Andre Touchy-Feely beat Gabriel Benitez, I apologize. He knocked him out with head kick and punches in the first round. Alejandro Perez beat Scott Jorgensen, TKO leg injury. Scott Jorgensen, please, for God's sake, retire. I like you way too much. I need you to stop being injured. Stop getting hurt. Just retire. You're getting way too old for a sport that's going to eventually possibly kill you. Bartozo Fibineski against Hector Urbina. Fibineski won by decision. Eric Perez beat Taylor Lapuza. He won by unanimous decision. Leonardo Silva against Efrain Escudero. Silva beat Escudero by unanimous decision. Barzola against Gutierrez. Unanimous decision. Barzola won. Eric Montano against Enrique Marin, I apologize. Montano won by split decision. Henry Cejudo beat Cesar da Silva by split decision. And in the co-main event, Ricardo Lamas beat Diego Sanchez by unanimous decision. Neil Magny beat Kelvin Gastelum, split decision. And that's the fight from last weekend. The fight that is next, let me pull this up a second, is this weekend. The 28th of November. I'm waiting. Hang on. I know there's going to be an advertisement, so I'm waiting. Oh, maybe not. It is on at, I believe, 4 in the morning. 4:45 a.m. Kicking off the card, Donghyun Stun Gun Kim against Dominique Steele. That sounds like a porn star's name. Gang Yong-ning against Marco Beltran. Freddie Serrano against Zikiayo. Si Hei Ha against Courtney Casey. Tai Hyun Bong against Leo Kuntz. I'm not making that up, that's really his name. Doi Chi Nam against Mike De La Toro. Dongie Yang against Jake Collier. Sam Cecilia against Du Ho Choi. Yoshishiro Sexyama, otherwise known as Yoshishiro Akiyama, is fighting Alberto Mina and Dongyong Kim. Oh, wait a minute. What the hell? You have the same name. That is fucking confusing as fuck. Never mind, wrong guy. He's the co-main event. I thought that picture looked a little fucked up. Stop naming your case the same thing. Sorry. The first fight is Dongyong Kim. Don't know who that is. The co-main event is Stun Gun Dongyong Kim against Dominic Waters. And the main event is Benson Smooth Henderson against Jorge Masvidal. My predictions for this, I'll start with the people I actually know who the hell they are. I'm going with Bong over Kuntz. I swear I'm not making that up. Collier over Yang. Cecilia over Cho. Yoshishiro Akiyama decision over Mina. Dongyong Kim over Dominic Waters. And Masvidal over Benson. That's that. Alright. So, before I close this, let's bring up one more thing. Right now, there's this huge debate about whether or not we should let in refugees from Syria. And I believe there's one other country, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. And, people are all up in arms about this, that we shouldn't let them terrorists into our country. Okay, first of all, all of them are not terrorists. I think we should let some of them in. Here's why. I believe it may have a little bit of good faith with some of the people who aren't complete assholes in their country. I know there's very few of them, but the few of them who are there might see it as good faith. A lot of people like to argue that, the attacks in Paris were orchestrated by the people who they let in. That is actually false, from what I've read. Now, what I've read may have changed in the last 48 hours, but last I read, they were already residents. They lived there for about a year, I think is what I read. And they decided to carry out this completely unplanned for, on our end, and completely shocking attack. It had nothing to do with the refugees. Last that I read. Again, information may have changed since then, but the last thing I heard and read states otherwise. To go with that, Trump, in his infinite wisdom, has come up with an amazing plan that will just basically treat the Muslims that are in our country like Jews. We're in Nazi Germany. We're going to pin stars on them, different form, but same basic idea. And we're going to make you join this database so we can keep track of you. I see. Well, not to sound like a flaring racist here, but in my high school, if you weren't white, you were either from the Middle East or Indian. To those who don't understand, those are two different things. Very different. You were either a Muslim, and there were, I think, like one Buddhist and like 3 Hindus. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Otherwise, you were white. There were no black people in my graduating class. Well, actually, no, there was one, I think. I'm trying to think off the top of my head now. Yeah, there was one. And she was a very lovely girl. But anyway. Or Hispanic. That was another one we had. Some Hispanics. A Brazilian girl. Anyway, getting beyond the point. And I was talking to a friend of mine not too long ago about this. And I was like, so, what do you think of this? And he goes, what do you think I think? It's fucking ridiculous. He's lived here forever. He's a naturalized citizen. Born here. His one of his family members is from the Middle East. The other one is either from here or Canada. I don't remember what. It's from over here somewhere. And he's like, I've gone to school in America. I speak perfect English. Other than that, the only thing that links me at all to these extremists that they keep talking about is the fact that he's Muslim. Him and I are good friends. I could give a fuck that he's Muslim. He's a great guy. He's very smart. Another friend of mine, a guy I graduated with, is I think, what's he majoring in? I'm not, I can tell you. He is majoring in, again, very smart guy. Worked his ass off to get where he is. It was his birthday not too long ago. I think that's how you spell his name. Ta-da! There we go. He is currently attending Johns Hopkins. He was, I believe, summa cum laude out of my high school. And I'm trying to figure this out. It doesn't say. I gotta look it up. It's just gonna take me an extra second. I don't remember everything about him. He's studying biomedical engineering. Does that sound like somebody that we should be keeping an eye on? I don't think so. I think that's somebody who needs to be left the fuck alone. So, to Trump, go fuck yourself. There are, of course, other people who are arguing against not only that, but other parts of the whole transition. And I just think it's ridiculous. Look, innocent people are innocent people. We should let them in. That's all I have to say about that. Again, if you want to start a debate about that, I'll gladly discuss it with you. I am open to other people's opinions. I know it doesn't seem that way, and that's why I don't get a lot of comments and things. But seriously, if you wish to bring something up, I will gladly debate it with you, and I'll gladly have a discussion about it. As always, this podcast has been brought to you as a huge thanks to Joe Rogan of the Joe Rogan Experience, JRE, which is available on YouTube and iTunes. Also brought to you as a huge thanks to Zions, the 0-calorie, 0-sugar energy drink that has the great original taste 0-calorie energy drink. Real energy for real people. The unique formula to give you the #power2. It's the only energy drink I drink. There's no crash, no jitters, and it tastes absolutely delicious. I'm drinking Frostberry Blast, if I can speak English. I'm not sponsored by either of those companies, although I'm a huge fan. If you wish to sponsor me, that would be fantastic. Again, comment below. Also brought to you by Fucks. Not given here, not given there, not given anywhere. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day, evening, or afternoon, possibly even morning, whenever it is you watch this. Bye.